Okay, operations of polynomials. This is the assignment that we're going to be doing Friday in class. I won't be here. So this is pretty simple stuff we've already seen before. Basically, it's just adding and subtracting like terms. So the very first thing we need to notice is when I have these two parentheses is what's happening with these two parentheses. And in this case, we are adding. Okay. Now, problem number 2 is a subtraction. Don't start distributing and multiplying everything right off the bat. Okay. Slow down and realize what you're working with here. So the very first thing I want to do is I need to get rid of my parentheses. Okay, and I'm going to do that. If you look, I drew a circle around it, but I have an invisible 1 in front of this parenthesis. If I distribute that invisible 1 to everything inside the parenthesis, it doesn't change it. 1 times 3x squared is still 3x squared. 1 times 8x cubed is still positive 8x cubed. 1 times negative 3 is still negative 3. Okay, same thing here. This is a positive 1. If I distribute that 1 here to get rid of the parentheses, 1 times 5x squared is positive 5x squared. 1 times negative 6 is negative 6. 1 times negative 5x cubed is negative 5x cubed. So all you're doing is combining your like terms. We want to write these in standard form, which means the highest exponent goes in the front. So here I have 8x cubed minus 5x cubed. 8 minus 5, 3x cubed. And those are done. Now move on to the x squareds. I have 3x squareds plus 5x squareds. 3 plus 5, that's 8x squareds. Those are done. X, I don't have any x terms, so now my constants. Okay, I have a negative 3 minus 6 more, negative 9. So all you're doing in there is combining your like terms. Now on number 2, you'll distribute your positive 1 in front of the parenthesis. 3p cubed plus 3p squared minus 7p. But here's the kicker. Now, when you're distributing here, you're distributing a negative 1. Negative 1 times 3p. Well, that's negative 3p. Negative 1 times negative 5 is positive 5p cubed. Negative 1 times negative 4, positive 4p squared. Okay, so when you distribute the negative into that second parenthesis, that negative 1, the signs are going to change. 3p turned into a negative 3p. Negative 5p cubed turned into positive 5p cubed, and negative minus 4p squared turned into plus 4p squared. So again, your like terms, highest exponents first. 3p cubed plus 5p cubed, that's 8p cubed. Done with those. 3p squared plus 4p squared, that's positive 7p squared. Done with those. Negative 7p's minus 3 more. Negative 10p's. Done with those. All it is combining like terms. So I want you to get rid of your parentheses first before you start combining your like terms. All right, on the back, number 12. Okay, now we've got some distributing. We're actually multiplying here. There's no addition or subtraction in between the two parentheses. So we need to multiply every term in the first parenthesis times every term in the second parenthesis. 5b times 4b, that's 20b squared. 5b times 7, 35b. Negative 2 times 4b, negative 8b. And negative 2 times 7 is negative 14. Okay, so again, combining your like terms. B squareds, that's the only one I've got, so we'll leave him alone. 20b squareds. B's, positive 35 minus 8. So 35 minus 8, 27b's, positive 27b's. Those are done. And then I have a constant of minus 14 at the end. Nothing else to combine them with. So that one you actually do have to distribute because the back-to-back parentheses tell me you're multiplying. Okay, and I'll show you on this next problem how to stay a little bit more organized when you're doing that, when you're doing the multiplication. Okay, 18. So let's look at it. Again, we're going to distribute. We're going to multiply the 5x squared times all 3 terms in the second parenthesis. Then we're going to multiply the 2x times all 3 terms in the second parenthesis. Then we're going to multiply the negative 4 times all 3 terms in that second parenthesis. And so this time, whenever I do it and I multiply, I'm going to actually line up my like terms. So it'll be easier to combine them. 5x squared times 8x squared. 5 times 8 is 40. X squared and x squared is x to the 4th. 5x squared times 4x. 5 times 4 is 20. And then x squared and x, that's x to the third. 5x squared times negative 5. 5 times negative 5 is negative 25. X squared, nothing else there, so we'll just leave that as x squared. So now when I multiply my 2x to all these terms on the right, I'm going to write them down below, and I'm going to line up exponents. So 2x times 8x squared. 2 times 8 is 16. X squared and x is x to the third. So that's positive 16 x to the third. So I'm just going to line them up. 2x times 4x. 2 times 4 is 8. X times x is x squared. So that's positive 8 x squared. So I line up the x squareds together. And now I got to go 2x times negative 5. 2x times negative 5 is negative 10x. Since the top row didn't have any x's, the negative 10 hangs out by himself. Okay, now I've got to multiply the negative 4 times all the terms in the second parenthesis. Negative 4 times 8x squared, that's negative 32x squared. Negative 32x squared. So I'll line that up with the other x squareds. Negative 4 times 4x, that's negative 16x. So I line that up with the other x. And then finally, negative 4 times negative 5, positive 20. Okay, so instead of writing these all the way out, you're going to run off the page, you're going to run out of room. Stack them on top of each other so you don't run out of room. X to the fourths, all I have is 40 x to the fourths, nothing to combine them with. X cubed, 20 plus 16, that's 36. X cubed. X squared, combine all these like terms. Whew, calculator help. Negative 25 plus 8 minus 32. That's negative 49. X squared. X's, negative 10 minus 16 more. Negative 26 x's. And then the constant, positive 20 at the end by himself. So it's another way to kind of set everything up to keep your exponents in line so it's easier to see what your like terms are going to be. All right, on number 20, notice this 4x minus 1 has a squared at the end of it. Right? So anytime you have something that's squared, really what that means is you need to write it twice. So I'm going to get rid of that squared, and I'm going to write 4x minus 1 again. Okay, so when you do this, it's going to take a little bit of time. We've got to distribute the first two parentheses together. Then whatever that gives me, we're going to distribute that with the second parenthesis. All right, so we've got x times 4x. That's 4x squared. I've got x times negative 1. Negative 1x. Negative 2 times 4x. That's negative 8x. Negative 2 times negative 1. Positive 2. So now I'll go ahead and combine my like terms here and clean this up, because this 4x minus 1, he's still over there. We'll use him in just a minute. But let's clean up the first one that we came up with. 4x squared, because there's no other x squareds to combine them with. My x is negative 1 minus 8 more. That's negative 9 x's, and then I have a plus 2 at the end. So that, after I've cleaned it up, is going to multiply with my 4x minus 1. And since I'm doing a lot of distributing here, I'll write it the way I did number 18. Stack them on top of each other. 4x squared times 4x, that's 16x cubed. Now 4x squared times negative 1, that's negative 4x squared. Now negative 9x's turn. Negative 9x times 4 x, that's negative 36x squared. Negative 9x times negative 1, that's positive 9x. Now it's the 2's turn. 2 times 4x, that's positive 8x. I line my like terms. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. So x cubed, all I have is 16x cubed. X squareds, combine the like terms. Negative 4 minus 36 more, that's negative 40 x squareds. X's, positive 9, positive 8, that's positive 17 x's. And then the constant minus 2 at the end by himself. Okay. So disclaimer on number 19, when it says 2x minus 3 cubed, I want you to write 2x minus 3, 2x minus 3, 2x minus 3. Write it out twice. Distribute the first two together. Whatever that gives you when you clean it up, distribute that with the last one.